Algonquin College has built a relationship with organic coffee farmers that share their core values of caring, learning, integrity, and respect. The college has made a connection with Arturo Segura of Colibri in Santa Maria de Dota, Costa Rica. The Algonquin College Sea Earth program has been bringing educators to Costa Rica for almost 10 years. Participants gain an understanding of the importance of environmental stewardship and agricultural practices and explore the efforts in place to preserve wildlife habitats and pristine primary forest regions, while developing a deeper appreciation for the importance of sustainable practices within Algonquin communities. The Sea Earth program supports the goals and objectives of the Algonquin experience. Algonquin's direct trade with Arturo and Colibri is just one small step towards obtaining sustainable connections and solutions within our Algonquin community, both locally and globally. Arturo made a choice in his life to be an organic coffee farmer. This choice supports his desire to have harmonious relationships in his life as a father and husband, an educator, and as an environmentalist. Arturo started his organic coffee farming practices in 1995 and was certified organic in 1999. Arturo brought his coffee to Seattle to see how it would sell.
I took 80 pounds in my backpack, went to Seattle, and I found out that people were in love. At that moment, my hands full of calluses and hardcore working, and even when I would show my hands even more, the coffee would go out the door like nothing because they were suddenly to a farmer with broken English. So then prove the point that people want to identify, they want to, if they come closer to the farmer, they come closer, they can feel for the product. It's just not something empty in a box or in a package. They just feel that the person is kind of walking inside that bag. I don't know. Every person, I remember I talked about coffee and I would say, I'm a coffee farmer, so I would like to know why you like to buy fair trade products. They would say, because we want to help the farmers. We want to help the farmers.
Shade-grown organic coffee is a practice of farming that provides much-needed protection to the plants from extreme sun and rain in the regions of Costa Rica. This practice has many positive ecological impacts. Shade-grown coffee provides important habitats for both native and migratory bird species. It also helps reduce soil erosion, and the added leaf litter and other plant material from these shade trees also contributes to increased soil nutrients such as carbon and nitrogen.
Yes, the farm is certified organic. It used to be, parts of it used to be certified shade-grown. For all purposes, definitely a shade-grown farm. It has a diversity of trees that are like canopy trees that are tall. It has undergrowth trees and fruit trees. So for all purposes, it's a shade-grown farm. The parts that were certified shade-grown, because of climate change, we couldn't keep them as such because it was too much shade, and there would be there would be this disease that would spread throughout the farm. So we couldn't have it as a, we weren't able to certify it anymore because we kind of cut a little and brought some more light into the plants.
Carolina is Arturo's wife and mother to Ben. Carolina is also an environmentalist and an inspector for the certification process of organic coffee farming. Carolina has many innovative ideas about organic farming. She talks passionately about what she likes to call the green revolution.
What I would like to do is to just, take a little bit more care of the coffee plantation, so that, and to, put not even just fruits, more food. Also, like, I imagine like trees with a lot of flowers, everything very colorful. So, and the coffee to take care very.
And that will bring in birds and butterflies and
also the neighbors and the people to see a coffee farm producing not just coffee.
Right. Lisa Roots is a professor in the Issues in Diversity First Nations program in the Police and Public Safety Institute at Algonquin College. Lisa spent time with Arturo and his family in Santa Maria de Dota during coffee picking season to gain a better understanding of where her morning Java comes from.
It is almost the end of January and we're here visiting Arturo and his family in their coffee plantation because this is the time of year when the berry is in season. There's two different colors of berries on the plant. And so at this stage, this is what they are, is berries. So the red ones are ready to pick. These are the ripe ones. The green ones are not ready yet. So Benjamin here in front of me, or in Espanol, Benjamin, is Arturo and Carolina's son. And this property will one day belong to him. And look at him already being engaged at a young age. And we've certainly seen Ben engaged in a lot of different activities with Arturo and Carolina. And so look at next generation already actively participating. Ben, is it fun? Are you having fun?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Cool!
If there would be a struggle that you would love to hear from all farmers that have a family, is that how much we would love them to keep taking care of the place, especially if you have given time to it, right? To see it better. You just want the generations to come, like my son, to love it and care for it. That's the hope. Yeah, totally.
There are many migrant workers in Costa Rica from Nicaragua and Panama. But Arturo only hires local Costa Ricans. The workers pick the coffee and assist in the processing.
Locals?
Yeah, everybody's local.
Yeah?
In my farm, everybody's local.
And the coffee season is from when?
The coffee season starts normally in this town at around the end of November for some of them, but mostly in December. In my case, we began just in January because it's higher, and we want the coffee to really ripen really well and all the sugars to develop. So we just try to wait.
So January until when?
Until April.
And approximately how many workers will be employed during that time?
From 8 to 12.
Only the ripe cherries are harvested and they are picked individually by hand. Pickers rotate among the trees every 8 to 10 days, choosing only the cherries that are at the peak of ripeness. As such, coffee picking is one of the most important stages in coffee production. Pickers are mindful of their surroundings, always looking out for snakes and spiders. They wear rubber boots, long-sleeve shirts, hats, and sometimes protective gloves. The young men and women working this season on Arturo's farm are very engaged and conscious of maintaining a sustainable lifestyle. Arturo is a mentor to many of these youth. Each picker's daily quantity is measured and recorded. Payment is based on the number of containers they fill. After picking, the fruit covering the bean is removed through a large processing machine.
So these are beans that were picked this morning that are being carried from there up to him, going into the machine, and the machine is essentially peeling the berry, actually. It starts as a berry. And so the pulp is going down at that end, or the skin from the berry, and the bean, the wet green bean, is coming out here. It'll go from here to dry, and this many beans is about 12 wheelbarrows full.
The beans are then dried in the sun for 7 days. As they dry, they are raked and turned by hand to ensure even drying and prevent mildew. Once the drying process is complete, the green beans are packed into bags to be cleaned and sorted. Arturo's sustainable lifestyle spread to the education system, and in 2007 he hosted his first group of teachers and students.
The whole thing with the tourism, even when Algonquin first came here, we didn't know. I never had the farm for the purpose of that. It has been that around 7 years ago, I'm gonna say, there was a school teacher in Seattle that wanted to do a project with me with biodiesel. I was living in a co-op house and we were producing biodiesel. I said, in my country nobody really knows about this. So he came with a group, but we came through a company. and that company was called Ecotich. Then Ecotich came here and found this guy very energetic with set of beliefs and a simple place, and they thought it is exactly what we want. We want no show, we want them, and normally the groups is the first place they come. So they first find something that doesn't have like many drawings are there and all this like nice show, but it's real life with real experiences, and then they take them to our places to have different kind of experiences. Normally both of these companies are very centered in ecosystem restorations, wildlife protection, like turtles and such. But they normally come here for that conversation or anything. One or two things they love about it is to send those kids home. Many of the professors tell me that they love that. This part when you send the kids home thinking about where they are getting their food, what's going on with their food, is their food healthy or not, is it, who is growing your food? Who in your community is doing it? Because there is somebody out there that you should be paying attention to that's probably doing things the right way. Why is it important? Because we talk simple things like the fact that across the street somebody's spraying herbicides and all kinds of things right by a creek that used to be drinkable, right? And it's no longer drinkable.
Lisa has a unique opportunity to sit down with some local coffee pickers. These young men are native Costa Ricans working in Arturo's coffee plantation for the season. They are 18 and 20 years old and have been working already for over 10 years.
He's
been working since he's 8 years old.
Hasta la fecha.
So 10 years already.
Already, yeah. ¿Estás trabajando, amigo?
Desde pequeño también.
Tan pequeño como usted se acuerde. Since he remembers, he's just been working.
Just been working.
Que
En
fue
séptimo.
en séptimo. He was
Apenas saqué sexto, no fui más al colegio.
he didn't
Hasta
even
ahorita
finish the
que lo
first
estoy
year of
empezando.
high school.
No.
The guys are shocked to hear that we pay on average $2 for a cup of coffee in Canada.
Y que, ojo, para que vean, y que en averaje la taza de café cuesta $2. Entonces, si agarras una libra, son alrededor de $70 por libra, que más o menos produce una librita de café en el final de ellos.
It takes approximately 70 whole coffee beans in order to make up 1 cup of coffee. These coffee pickers pick approximately 160,000 beans per day. 160,000 coffee beans makes over 2,000 cups of coffee. They make on average $20 per day.
I'm telling them that another thing that probably goes on out of this is that you guys are, as a social community, your entire country, many of you have the capacity to invest in these processes. And part of that is trying to create that consciousness so people invest more in that. And also at the end, I'm going to say, you guys are also turning around into your own. You see, you bring the story from outside, but I would say at the end of the day, probably you as a Canadian, you take your people and then you actually bring this challenge of other people and all their issues, so to understand how we solve ours and how we make them profitable, how we make successful, so that there is more of that goodness around.
Arturo and his young neighbor Edgar are part of the Association Alianza, which is the Association of Organic Coffee Farmers of Costa Rica. There are 12 small groups today working in this alliance in the coffee sector.
So sitting here with Arturo and Edgar, and we were visiting Edgar's farm today actually. He wasn't there at the time, so we've just met him, and we're going to ask him some questions.
Algo como, no sé, como una mini fauna ya, que lleguen buenos, que hayan bastantes animales. Y
Lo que está, ajá.
que colabore con el medio ambiente.
He wants first. He would like to have family, and he dreams of all of that, and obviously having children. But his brain right now, or his focus is to have a farm that can bring life into it, because he knows that that would be his contribution to the planet. It's just to have diversity and bring birds and mammals.
Bueno, este año lo he trabajado 100% orgánico, ¿verdad?
Exacto.
Todos los productos han sido certificados.
All he's been working this year, fully organic. And then all the amendments and everything that he has used everything is 100% organic, certified.
Nice.
Bueno, las fumigadas también al suelo.
Everything that he put on the coffee this year.
Le puse tres fumigadas al suelo.
He sprayed microorganisms to the soil
Y
3 times.
8 fumigadas
And then 8 times to the plants.
y casi 4 abonadas.
And 4 times he put fertilizer. So you see he's acting aggressive, but I believe the consequences are very good for him.
Edgar is dedicated to growing organic coffee. He has challenges, but his love for the environment is where he gets his motivation.
Isn't that beautiful? He says he makes $3,000 a year.
A year.
He doesn't work anywhere else. So it's basically, he works for, cuando trabajas para tu hermano, él te paga.
Sí, me paga.
Entonces ahí haces un poquillo
Allá,
más de plata.
más de plata.
Podríamos decir que haces, digamos, 2 millones entre todo.
Sí, tal vez como 2.5 por ahí.
He says that he might be making, let's say, like $4,500 a year with the work he does for his brother. And my next question was to him, with that you make it? He says, with that I make it. Juntas con Mao.
En la casa de Mao.
So this is the beautiful part. He says that, this is his opinion, which is great. He's saying that he feels that the youth that are similar age to him are now more concerned about all the issues related to the environment and sustainability. And like in his case, one of the kids that is back there, Mauricio, they are also growing food together. So, and they share similar feelings that they don't want any pesticides in their food. And
So is he feel optimistic then?
¿usted se siente optimista del futuro de la agricultura?
En orgánica sí.
Sí, he is optimistic about organic farming.
Lisa asks Edgar if he had one piece of information that he would like us to share with Canadians on his behalf, what would it be?
Vamos a ver.
¿Qué te gustaría que supieran de vos ahora que estás trabajando orgánico y que estás dejando arbolitos y que dejas el monte y que lo haces a mano? ¿Qué te gustaría que ellos supieran de vos?
Yo le digo, bueno, lo primero ya, yo todo eso lo hago no por mí, sino ya por el planeta.
Okay, so that they know that he's not doing it just for himself, that he's doing it for the planet.
Sí, ya intentar tener los animales y cuidarlos, porque no sé, como eso de ahora que la casa y todo eso, ¿verdad? Pero sí, es una pregunta así como volver a responder.
I don't know, just tell them that he's not just doing it for himself, he's doing it for everyone.
And he learned that message through his community and through his family.
¿Cómo fue que, de dónde te sale esto que?
Trabajar orgánico, ahí por usted.
It's because of me.
He just knows.
No, he's saying that because of me. Is that he's working organically because he has met me and
Porque en realidad aquí nadie trabaja orgánico.
because nobody works organically here.
Sometimes you feel kind of alone, and also you don't feel sometimes the support, right? Like the community support. One of the things that is really interesting that I have always thought is when the groups come to a farm for a few hours, and then all the town is just kind of like the people are going up and down. They are just how funky. There is some people at Arturo's farm, and then something I feel like, okay, now you sense that I have a community kind of thing, because when there is no one here, you're kind of like a loner. So maybe my challenge is more like the social challenge, more than economic and those things, because those things I don't mind. I can handle it. I can live with that. But you know, not having a community, it's a little different. So maybe sometimes it's just that.
The average coffee farmer in Costa Rica uses conventional non-organic methods to produce their coffee. They receive a fair trade price for their coffee, so the motivation to practice organic farming, which could have its challenges, is not their reality.
There is not this system in place that tells people that to go into these sustainable organic ways of doing things, and the caring for the land, the caring for the trees, the caring for the water is important. So if you don't have that as in a community, if you feel that you are doing it but nobody's like really valuing it, so you feel like kind of lonely in that sense. And our challenge has to do with the fellows that want to be organic farmers. It's that they just look around and they just sense that, you know, why if nobody really cares? Why if nobody feels that I'm doing something unique or special? And this is where you guys take, you know, you play such an incredible role. I think the international community probably doesn't even know that when you come to a place like this and you focus your eyes in the people that is doing this kind of stuff, you're giving strength to them, because where they will find it. You know, I mean, the experience that you have yesterday with Edgar, you know how he feels? I don't know if you really know. I don't really know, but I know his touch. He knows there is somebody from the outward coming to see what he's doing. Have you ever, I mean, if you ask me, Arturo, have you ever seen anybody from the co-op or from the community go and see how Edgar is doing with his coffee farm?
No.
No. No.
Wow.
The economic model of direct trade, together with the fair trade certification exemplified by Colibri, creates a more efficient relationship between the community of family farmers, retailers, and consumers.
The sense of the idea from Lorinda Rowledge, that was the person that thought of the word direct trade, till finding out that today companies like Stumptown, that is the fastest growing company in the US, is using the term left and right all over the place, that they are direct trade buyers. It's awesome. That it came from such a beautiful, simple experience of a dude in Seattle is still, I think, the legacy of it. There is no failure here. But yes, direct trade means to me that I'm just being sharing. It's that connection, a closer connection. It's almost impossible. The system as it is, and I think your school has learned that. I think Ken, as a very intelligent man, Glenn, they know that, yes, awesome, man, but where do you have the money to open a coffee house, my friend?
So your preference is direct trade?
My preference are relationships. Let's forget the word. Just what I aim for is relationships, because you change Edgar in a relationship, not in a business interaction only. Yeah.
Algonquin's direct trade with Arturo and Sol Colibri is just one small step towards obtaining sustainable connections and solutions within our Algonquin community, both locally and globally.
Adiós.
Adiós.
¡Viva vida Costa Rica!
Adiós. ¡Pura vida!
Fun. I learned a lot today.
What'd you
I learned a lot
learn?
yesterday and today. We're in the beginning stages of coffee, and so let me assure anybody who's going to watch this, you can hear things about coffee, you can read things about coffee, as far as the process goes from beginning to end, but let me assure you that I at least did not have an appreciation really for the process, the work involved in me enjoying that cup of Java. Holy cow. It's pretty incredible.
Nice.
And authentic.